Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Sarah. I'm a registered ER nurse, and today I'm going to tell you the story about a time I almost caught an assault charge in a hospital break room. Grab a snack, hit subscribe, and let's talk about Todd. To really understand how close I was to losing my mind, you have to understand my mental state at the time. It was 4:15 in the morning. I had just finished hour 12 of a 12-hour shift that was supposed to end at 3 o'clock a.m. Now, if you don't work in healthcare, let me explain what 12 hours feels like. Your brain is no longer a brain. It is a soggy French fry floating in a puddle of cheap energy drinks. Your feet feel like they have been hit with a meat tenderizer. I had spent the entire night dealing with people who had shoved things into body parts where things should not go, people bleeding on my shoes, and one guy who tried to fight me because I wouldn't let him vape in the trauma bay. I was dead inside. I was a walking zombie. I smelled like hospital soap, stale sweat, and bad decisions. I finally dragged my lifeless body into the break room. It's this depressing little room with a flickering fluorescent light that makes everyone look like they have a vitamin deficiency. I slump into a plastic chair. I am holding a styrofoam cup of break room coffee. This coffee has been sitting on the burner since the Bush administration. It tastes like hot pennies and sadness, but I need it to survive the walk to my car. I am staring at a stain on the table. I am not thinking. I am just existing. I am trying to untense my jaw for the first time in half a day. And then the door opens. In walks Todd. Todd is not a nurse. Todd is not a doctor. I think Todd works in some sort of administration or IT role, but honestly, nobody really knows what Todd actually does. What we do know is that Todd is a biohacker. If you're lucky enough to not know what a biohacker is, let me break it down for you. A biohacker is usually a guy in his late 20s who listens to too many podcasts hosted by dudes who eat raw liver. Todd thinks he can cheat death by buying expensive dirt on the internet, taking ice baths, and staring directly at the sun to set his circadian rhythm. Todd does not walk into the room, he bounces into the room. He is vibrating with the unearned confidence of a mediocre white man who just finished a 4-hour podcast on Spotify. Now, let's talk about Todd's outfit. Todd is wearing a skin-tight, tactical zip-up jacket. Why? He works in a hospital. The most dangerous thing he encounters is a paper cut from the printer. But he's dressed like he's about to jump out of a helicopter into an active war zone. He has one wireless earbud in, probably listening to a guy named Rex talk about how vegetables are a government conspiracy. He sits down across from me. He looks at me. He sees my soul leaving my body. He sees the dark circles under my eyes that are so deep you could hide loose change in them. Does he say, "Hey, Sarah, rough night?" No. He looks at me with this creepy, fake sad face and says, "Sarah, I respect the grind, but you look terrible." "Todd," I say, my voice is basically a croak. "Please, I just want to sit here in silence. I am trying to forget the smell of the last patient." "I hear you," Todd says, ignoring exactly what I just said. "But you're not just tired, Sarah. Your cells are inefficient." I just blink at him, slowly. I literally do not have the muscle energy to roll my eyes. If I roll my eyes, I might pull a muscle in my face, and I can't afford the medical bill. He reaches into his tactical backpack and pulls out the weapon. It's a water bottle. But calling this thing a water bottle is like calling a tank a golf cart. It is a massive, heavy, matte black steel jug. It looks like it belongs on a spaceship. It looks like you could use it to hammer nails into concrete. "Look at this," Todd says, slamming it on the table. The whole table shakes. My sad little penny coffee almost spills. This is the Battle Gulp 3000. It cost me $90. $90 for a cup with a lid. Cool, I whisper. I'm going to go die in my car now. Wait, listen, Todd says, leaning forward. He is getting way too close. I can smell his weird, organic tree bark deodorant. You're tired because you're drinking dead water. Todd, water is water. It comes out of the sink. You drink it so you don't dry up like a raisin. Wrong! Todd actually points a finger in my face. That's what they want you to think. Tap water is unstructured. The molecules are a mess. It's like a traffic jam in your body. Your body has to work overtime just to figure out what to do with it. You're wasting energy just trying to get hydrated. He pats his $90 metal tube. This bottle actively restructures the water. It uses harmonic resonance to line up the molecules. It turns dead water into living water. Guys, I have a college degree in nursing. I took heavy science classes. I spent years studying anatomy, biology, and chemistry. I know how the human body works. And right now, I am sitting across from a guy who thinks his metal cup sings a magic song to make water come alive. I just stare at him. I want to tell him he's an idiot. I want to explain how the digestive system actually works. But I am so tired. It takes too much effort to argue with stupid. So I make the biggest mistake of my life. I nod. Sure, Todd, I say. Living water. Got it. Todd's eyes light up. He thinks I am interested. He thinks he has found a student. He thinks he is the smartest man in the hospital. Let me break it down for you, he says. He reaches over and grabs a paper napkin from the dispenser. You know the kind of napkin I'm talking about. The cheap, brown hospital napkins that feel like sandpaper and rip if you look at them too hard. He pulls a pen out of his pocket. Not a normal pen, of course. A heavy metal tactical pen. It probably has a secret knife in it for when he has to fight a bear in the cafeteria. He starts drawing on the napkin. Okay, look, this is wild stuff. Really wild, Todd says. He draws a big circle. He draws 2 little circles attached to it. It looks like a lopsided Mickey Mouse. Most people think water is just wet stuff, he says, talking to me like I am a golden retriever. But it's not. It is literally composed of 2 hydrogen molecules and 1 oxygen molecule. It's crazy, right? I am literally staring at him. He is mansplaining H2O to a nurse. He is explaining that water is made of water. He is acting like he just discovered fire, and he wants to show me how the shiny red-hot thing works. Wow, I say in the flattest, most sarcastic voice a human being has ever produced. Hydrogen. And oxygen. Who knew? Todd misses the sarcasm completely. He is in the zone. Right? He says, tapping the napkin with his tactical pen. So, in regular water, these little Mickey Mouse guys are all bumped up against each other. They're fighting. But when I put my water in the battle gulp, it aligns them. They stand in a straight line. He draws a bunch of straight lines on the napkin. He looks so proud of himself. And here's the best part, Todd says, leaning in like he's telling me a government secret. When you drink structured water, it lubricates the throat biome. I stop breathing. I just stop. I actually felt my brain short circuit. The what? I ask. The throat biome, Todd says very seriously. Most people have dry, unoptimized throat biomes. The dead water just scrapes down your pipe. But structured water? It coats the biome. It lubricates the entire throat canal. It slides right down into your cells. You don't even have to swallow hard. I am going to lose my nursing license. I am going to jump across this table, grab his $90 magic cup, and beat him with it until his biome is fully lubricated. Todd, I say, and my voice is shaking with anger. There is no such thing as a throat biome. Your throat is a tube. It gets lubricated by spit. If your throat is dry, you drink liquid. It goes to your stomach. Your stomach acid, which can dissolve a penny, destroys your structured water immediately. You were paying $90 for a metal cup that holds regular, boring water. Todd shakes his head. He has this smug, pitying smile on his face. The smile of a man who knows the truth because a guy on YouTube yelled it at him while lifting weights in a garage. Sarah, 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 he says, shaking his head. You've been brainwashed by big medicine. You're thinking too small. You're stuck in the old ways of thinking. You need to open your mind to optimization. He picks up the Battle Gulp 3000. It looks so heavy. Watch, he says. I'll show you. Look how smooth this is. Look how my body just absorbs it without fighting. This is it. This is the moment Karma decided to step into the hospital break room and give me a gift. A beautiful, perfect gift. Todd unscrews the lid of his heavy metal tank. He tilts his head back. He brings the bottle to his lips to take a huge, arrogant gulp of his perfectly aligned magic living water. But Todd is trying to be cool. He is trying to show off. And in his rush to prove how lubricated his throat biome is, he forgets how to drink like a normal human being. He tips the bottle too far. A massive wave of water hits the back of his throat. He breathes in at that exact same second. He inhales the water. Now, as a nurse, I have seen a lot of people choke. It's usually scary. But watching Todd choke on his $90 miracle water was the funniest thing I have ever seen in my entire life. He freezes. His eyes go wide. He looks like a deer caught in headlights. And then he explodes. Water shoots out of his mouth. It sprays all over the table. It sprays all over his stupid tactical jacket. It sprays all over his little Mickey Mouse napkin drawing. He starts hacking. And I don't mean a little cough. I mean a deep, wet, full-body gag. He drops the Battle Gulp on the table. It makes a loud clang and rolls away. He is hunched over, grabbing his chest, coughing so hard his face turns bright red, then purple. Water is dripping from his chin. His wireless earbud pops out of his ear and falls into the puddle of water on the table. He is gasping for air. He sounds like a dying seal. I do not move. I do not offer help. I do not ask if he is okay. I just sit there, sipping my cold, penny-tasting coffee, watching him fight for his life against regular tap water. I am completely calm. I am calculating how long I have to watch him choke before I'm legally required to do the Heimlich maneuver. I decide I have at least another 30 seconds. Todd keeps coughing. He grabs the wet, ripped napkin and tries to wipe his face, which just leaves wet brown paper crumbs all over his tactical stubble. He is a mess. He is a sogging, wheezing, unoptimized mess. Finally, after what feels like a wonderful eternity, he manages to suck in a breath of air. He is panting. His eyes are watering. He looks like he just ran a marathon and lost. He stands up straight. He avoids making eye contact with me. He reaches out with a shaking hand and grabs his metal bottle. The room is dead silent. The only sound is the buzzing of the cheap ceiling light and Todd's wet, heavy breathing. He looks at the bottle. He wipes a drop of water off his nose. He tries to stand tall and regain his cool podcast bro energy. He looks at me, clears his throat, which sounds terrible, by the way, and says the greatest sentence I have ever heard in my 29 years on this earth. Yeah, Todd says, his voice totally raspy and broken. The viscosity takes some getting used to. Viscosity. He choked on water because he is an idiot who forgot how to swallow, and he blamed it on the thickness of the water. I didn't say anything. I just stared at him. I put my coffee down, stood up, grabbed my bag, and walked to the door. As I opened it, I looked back at him. He was still standing there, covered in wet paper towels, holding his magic cup. "Have a good shift, Todd," I said. "Keep that biome wet." And I walked out. I got to my car, locked the doors, and laughed until I cried. So the moral of the story is, you can spend $100 on a fancy cup, you can listen to 1,000 hours of podcast, and you can try to teach science to a medical professional. But at the end of the day, water is still just water, and if you breathe it in, you're going to look like a dumbass. Thanks for watching, guys. Smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and for the love of God, please don't buy a $90 water bottle. See you in the next one.